Hi, this is Michael Christie. I'm the Virginia G. Piper Music Director of the Phoenix Symphony. One of the things that's been so exciting about my time here with the Phoenix Symphony is the number of living composers that we've had experience our concerts with us at Symphony Hall. It's also very exciting to have an opportunity to sit down with them, learn more about the works that they've written, and also get their perspective on other works that orchestras perform on the same program. I had a moment to sit down with Jennifer Higdon as we talked about her concerto Time for Three, which will be heard on a program that will be performing Haydn's Symphony No. 59, the Fire Symphony, and Rachmaninoff's exciting Symphonic Dances. We're thrilled to have you here in Phoenix. It's a great joy to not only see you in person, but to be playing a number of your works throughout the season. And we've already heard a couple of them this season, but now we're moving into a concerto that you wrote for a trio of instrumentalists called 4 for 3.
Yeah.
And maybe you could tell us a little bit about what it's like to write in a bluegrass style.
Yeah, you know, it's fascinating because I'm so trained in classical, but I grew up in East Tennessee, and there was a lot of bluegrass around, and it's what we call true mountain music, where none of the people actually read the music, but this is an oral tradition that had been handed down. And so I had to really stop and think back, all right, what was it like to experience viscerally bluegrass? What is that exactly, and how do I make that into a piece that would fit on a classical concert? And I also wanted to highlight the special gifts of these particular players. I know them very well. They all went through Curtis, where I teach. So I thought about what makes bluegrass bluegrass. There's a certain feeling to it that sounds like a celebration of joy in music and life. I thought about the fact that there's an emphasis on the offbeat, and there are a lot of interesting slides. That comes usually from the tradition because the people who are playing are not used to tuning. They tend to slide up to something. So, and then the guys had all these cool special effects that they did on their instruments, so we recorded those onto a laptop, and I made myself a little CD with sound effects, and so I kind of built a piece around that. And it's basically a celebration of just the joy of their playing. They're wonderful performers. The audiences always really get into their playing, and they love playing for the audiences.
Well, one of the things we're exploring at the Phoenix Symphony is a merge of various cultures and folk traditions with the symphony orchestra. As a symphonic composer, how do you see this marriage of, in a sense, East meets West? Does it work, and is it coming in your music as well?
You know, it does, and I think we've gotten to the point where we have enough people studying composition in the United States as performers also, who bring their own cultural identity. They're just different languages. That's what I discovered when I really started thinking about how do I make something bluegrass fit within a classical. There are just little characteristics within bluegrass that fit within the classical realm. You just have to bend the notes differently. The rhythms are a little different, the timing, but it is possible to do, and it's gotten easier as time has gone by.
We're featuring not only your music, but the music of Stravinsky and Haydn this year, and so I happen to love the middle symphonies of Haydn, the Sturm and Drang symphonies, and this Fire Symphony. Somehow I just thought, okay, without ever hearing the bluegrass, your 4 for 3, I thought,
right.
I bet there's something in that kind of, just that certain fiery energy that's gonna come through.
And not only that, the movements of this 4/3 concerto actually are water related. Just the coincidence. Maybe it's good it's following the fire.
That's right, exactly. When you hear composers like Rachmaninoff or even Beethoven or other composers, what are you actually hearing? Are you thinking, oh, I really love that combination of instruments and I'll steal that, or I mean, or can you just sit there and just enjoy it for what it is? Or are you actually kind of trying to sort it out?
You know what? I think I'm always kind of analyzing it, I always examine my emotional reaction to spots in the music. It's a little different for every composer. Haydn I often just enjoy. There's something about Haydn that has just kind of an elegant beauty. That's what I think of Haydn, and I think, wow, this guy kind of like kicked everything off for all of us in a certain respect. I find Rachmaninoff just beautiful. There's a certain kind of lushness there that is, there's a visceral experience when I listen to it, and so I think to myself, wow, cool sounds. How does he do that? What's he doing to combine the instruments, and what's happening in the harmony? So I have a tendency to probably overanalyze it.
new music is heading, in a sense?
Well, you know, I think melody's back. I think melody's back and tonality is back, and I think we're getting to the point where pieces now that have been written fit better on standard repertoire concerts. I think it used to be that the new music piece stood out a lot more. So I think it's much easier to integrate new works into a season and have them make sense in terms of looking at an entire program. I mean, I don't think Haydn would have ever imagined what bluegrass might be. And to have, you know, Rachmaninoff in there, it's interesting to watch the development of the language as it's become more complex. And every composer writes music that reflects their own time and the sounds they hear in their world. But with the internet, we hear a lot more music now from everywhere. So even if I hadn't grown up in East Tennessee, I bet I would know about bluegrass. I think most people probably would be pretty aware. It wasn't that way for Haydn. Rachmaninoff maybe a little bit more so, but I don't know if Rachmaninoff would have liked the bluegrass.